with Namta and AFCI. This is the Creativation Plus and Art Materials World Town Hall. So a good deal of the information today and the discussion will be about the event in March. I am Peter Finn, I'm the Executive Director at AFCI, and welcome to all AFCI members, NAMTA members, as well as folks that may be non-members and are very interested about the event. Welcome to everyone. Wanted to make a few introductions. The folks that are here that you can probably see. We have Phil King, who is the chairman of NAMTA, as well as Jim Scatena, who is the chairman of AFCI. And we'll be hearing from both of those gentlemen in a minute about the partnership. And as I said before, I'm Peter Finn, I'm the executive director at AFCI. We also have Leah Siffinger, who is the executive director at NAMTA, and Benjamin Rabe, who is the AFCI director of events, who will be spending a good portion of the time that we have over the next hour talking about the Creativation Plus event and all the great features and the ways that we're supporting our members and attendees and exhibitors. So with that, today we're going to cover in the agenda, we have our welcome, some remarks from Phil and Jim, to talk about the partnership 2021 and 2022. We're going to talk a little bit about Creativation Plus featuring Art Materials World and some of the specifics there. Want to get into the attendee experience because we've been getting a lot of questions, and rightly so, about what is this experience like. So we want to provide more information about how these networking events will work. We've always at our Creativation events, I've had a big focus on education, so we want everyone to know how that works. A timeline of the activity, so what's coming up, what are the milestones, and of course, some time for questions. I'll be monitoring the questions as we move along, so I'll try to bring those up as we go through, but certainly what we're not able to capture as we go through the presentation, we'll try to address at the end. And if we're not able to get to all the questions, because I'm sure there'll be several, we'll follow up with folks and also just build those questions into our FAQs. So with that, we will talk about the NAMTA partnership. So I'd like to again introduce Jim and Phil, and I think Jim, you were gonna kick things off and talk about this partnership with NAMTA and why this is a really special moment, I think, for both organizations.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Thanks to everyone for coming in today, especially our NAMTA partners. It's great to be together with you. It's quite a moment for me because I'm sort of the grand old man of the association. I was a part of the HIA board and the CHA board, and now the AFCI board, and I'm chairing that. And along that, and we were talking about this earlier, along those decades, NAMTA and the Craft Association were sort of always marching side by side towards the same creative consumer, but we were never quite under the same tent together. And I think both of our businesses have evolved over those times. And it's this pandemic that has caused a lot of situations to pivot. And this is one of those great pivot moments for all of you and all of us. It is so exciting for me to have good opportunities to join together with NAMTA and have hopefully a great experience with a virtual show. And then Phil and the team will talk about it later, but then get together for an in-person event for the first time, significantly first time. So I know there are a lot of questions, and I ask you to be patient. I'm so proud of the job that the team at Smith Buckland has done, because we were cruising along through 2020, never sure was the convention center going to be open or closed. And when we got to that point where we knew it was going to be closed, our whole world had to take a pivot. And this whole arena of virtual shows is new to all of us. But I've been able to peek in on a few other virtual shows out there, and it's pretty darn exciting. I don't believe for us it'll ever replace an in-person event, but I think during the interim, it'll keep us all together and keep us on track towards 2022. So I'd like to turn it over to at this point, to my friend and colleague and partner in crime here now, Phil King.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. As Jim was saying, that we've kind of been a parallel industries for a long time. This co-location has been a long time coming. I know we've been discussing it for over 10 years. We had hoped that our first co-location would have been in person, but COVID, nobody anticipated that. So luckily, Smith Buckland and AFCI have the ability to do a virtual show, and we're happy to be a partner in that. And then a year from now, we all hope to be together in Orlando. Again, thanks for all of you being here. I'm going to pass it along to Leah for a few words.
Hi everyone, I'm Leah Siffinger. Yeah, I just want to reiterate, thank you for including us today. We really appreciate how welcoming AFCI has been to Namta and our members. And it's great to finally have all of us on here together. We're looking forward to the virtual event, and we are greatly appreciative that you've included us in the virtual event. And we're even more excited for our face-to-face meeting in 2022. As Phil said, it's been a long time coming, and through many conversations with Peter and the people at Smith Buckland, we have finally got this partnership off the ground and going. So I appreciate it. I'm going to pass it back to Peter.
Yeah, no, I just to echo what Leah said. I mean, Leah and I have been talking throughout the year, and I just really appreciate all of Leah and Rick and her team's efforts in making this work. I mean, it's we're really in the support of Phil and the Namta board. So many thanks to them, and of course the AFCI board as well. So, but I think the next section, we were just going to talk about our industry, for a minute. I think we've seen some of our members really thrive. We've seen some of our members really in a challenging position this year. But of course, I think overall we've seen crafts and the arts really thrive, and there's a lot there, and it's something that we want to capture with this event. So we know that many of our members have pivoted, as sort of the word of 2020, reinvented their businesses. We know that there's a growing consumer interest, and we want Creativation Plus to be able to really capture a lot of this energy on the business side, and we think that can happen because we're going to be offering, I think, a lot of the things that we would normally be able to do at an in-person event in terms of the experience that we can create between buyers and suppliers and so on. But also, I think getting a little bit creative in some of what we're doing in our education and some of the networking. I think the other great thing about Creativation Plus and Art Materials World is that there will also be some after the fact, after the event. There'll be those that have attended or registered will have access to all of this material after the virtual show. So with that, I think we had one more slide here, and that is just the attendee experience. Before I hand it over to Benjamin to kind of get into more specifics. But we really want to create connection. That's always been sort of a mantra of AFCI. We know that international attendance might be a little bit easier, given there's no plane to get on. We know that we're offering a lot of our educational sessions for anybody to attend. So I think in years past, you can only go to certain ones. It's really it's all there for you. And I think the platform that we've chosen is really create a lot of flexibility for us and creating an awesome 5-day event. So so I'm going to hand it over to Benjamin, who has been sort of living and breathing all of this and be able to kind of share the particulars, because I know there's a lot of questions about what is this experience like. So and just again to remind everyone, please submit your questions. We want to try to get through as many of those as possible. We'll also have other town halls coming up leading up to Creativation Plus, because we feel as though, and we'll note that at the end, but it's important to just keep the communication with all of you as to what's going on. So with that, I'll hand it over to Benjamin and take it away.
All right, thanks, Peter. Yeah, just kind of as Peter just alluded to, we wanted to remind everyone that as an attendee that you'll have access to over 300 educational sessions. I'm sorry, 30 educational sessions, not 300. 30 educational sessions that will happen, and these will be concurrent sessions, but based on different topics that will be throughout the day over the 5 days. There'll be 5 days of exhibit hall access for our exhibitor partners. And we'll have some dedicated times when we want to have people meeting and doing stuff within their exhibits and on their booths. There are also going to be each day, and I'll get into some specifics about what's happening each day and provide more detail on what's going to happen on each day of the week, but there'll be 5 different networking opportunities. We anticipate having over 100 exhibitors, and I'll kind of share a list here in a second of all the folks that have already submitted contracts and have agreed to be part of Creativation Plus featuring our materials world. But all together, along with the general sessions and all of that, when you add up all that we have planned and in the schedule of events, we're looking at over 50 hours of educational content. And as Peter kind of mentioned, all of that's going to be on demand and then available throughout the rest of the year to all of the attendees to consume and digest. So if you're not able to catch it live, you still have access to all of that great content. So well, there's Chris, who is our sales manager for AFCI, and Rick, who's our sales manager for Namta. They have been busy in the last month showing all of our potential exhibitor partners what this is all about and how they can set up their exhibit on the virtual platform. This is just a short list of the 30 folks that have already committed to being part of Creativation Plus featuring our materials world. I know that we're getting more contracts every day, but this is just a short list of those 30 companies. And we'll start to share this on our website so that you guys know who you can expect and who you can connect with. And my apologies if somebody submitted a contract in the last couple of days, because we haven't probably added you yet to this list, but I know that we got 2 more this morning. So with that, one thing I did kind of want to cover is exhibitor make-it sessions. So in the past at Creativation, one of the popular things has been make and take sessions, or things where people can actually get their hands on a product and actually make a session. And some of these sessions were 2 or 3 hours long. Some of them were shorter and just happening in booths. So we have been in discussion with a lot of companies since our last town hall about how we can get product into the hands of members and attendees that would like to do that. So one thing that has been happening with some other virtual shows is that people have been creating kits and then allowing attendees, if they want to buy those kits and have them sent to them, doing that for a nominal shipping fee and ordering those in advance of the show. So it is our plan to announce soon all of some of the vendor partners, and some of them are names that people will recognize from past Creativation events. What kit is available for what session they are now presenting. And we'll be putting that on the Creativation Plus website. So more details to come on that soon. Unfortunately, none of the ink on any of the contracts is dried yet. So we can't yet announce that today. We had hoped to, but unfortunately we can't, just because we haven't yet contracted those vendor partners. And if we do have any of our exhibitor partners on the line today, I just want to remind those folks that the exhibitor prospectus and the demo that we've done for exhibitors is all available online. So you can look in to see what the different package opportunities are. So let's kind of shift then gears more to our education and our networking. So just want to remind you that it is a robust program, and we have all of these different sessions, and I'm kind of actually going to walk through here in a second on all of the different events. And like I said, we are going to have some networking events, 1 each day for different members, and we also will still be having our award ceremony like we have in the past. So one thing I did want to go ahead and announce today on today's town hall is that we are going to have 2 MCs for Creativation Plus. We have A.V. Perkins, who has a website, AV Does What, and she has a do-it-yourself blog. So we've engaged her to be one of our faces of Creativation Plus featuring Art Materials World, along with David Pyle. He's been in the industry for over 35 years. He has the Pyle Creative Studio, and we're excited to have him on board. So our staff team just met with them earlier this week to kind of talk about all the different videos and things that we need them to kind of start to pull together for us. And you'll be seeing a lot more of them and less of me in the coming weeks. So more to come on that, but they will be our co-MCs for the week of March 11th. So hope to see you guys all there. With that, I just kind of then wanted to walk through specifically and kind of get into some details of what's happening each day throughout Creativation Plus in mid-March. So on Monday, our networking activity is really going to be focusing on global connections and all of our, not only connecting those of us that are based in the States, but also those that are, live outside the United States. So for those NAMTA members know that we have an active chapter both in Canada and also the UK. So this is going to be part of our outreach, and it'll be an engaging session with some networking stuff to help connect people from around the globe. That will be happening on Monday. We'll also be starting Monday with a general session with Joe Rotella that will be talking about the need of being agile during turbulent times. And he's with Create and Craft. So we're excited that Joe is going to be presenting on Monday. There are 3 classes on Monday that I just kind of wanted to call out that are in different tracks. And there's more than this. The full schedule is available on the website. But the Creativation Education Committee really is excited about these sessions on Monday, which is a digital marketing session about essential strategies in a noisy world, how to build multiple income streams for your brand or shop, and then also the digital buyer's journey and how to nurture potential purchases. So that's some of the key stuff that's happening on Monday, along with exhibits and time for you to make individual appointments one-on-one with the manufacturer partners. Tuesday, we are going to be doing for our networking activity, we're going to be having a bird of the feather type session around trends. So in this type of a thing, it will be for an hour, but we'll be able to be taking people that are interested in certain topics and putting them into small groups so that they can then talk and have some facilitator discussions around certain trends that are facing just them. So we'll be putting people into different groups based on who shows up to that session. And then we're also going to have a panel that is going to be talking about adapting and thriving and just kind of the impact of COVID and everything that's happened in the last year to our industry. So we're excited on that session. And then there's some specific classes here about legal nuts and bolts, a creative community around your brand, some amazing sessions about Instagram, and then so again, some more about leadership in some difficult times. Wednesday, we are going to have for our networking activity a game show, kind of more targeted towards our designer members, but more folks will be welcome as well to participate in that. But it's a game show that we're working with our designer members on pulling that together for their section. We also are going to have a general session with a industry luminary. And then we also have specific classes around what's happening right now in retail. It's a panel, some photo editing on your phone sessions, Instagram stories and how to do those, and then how to financially diversify for both creative folks and for artists and independent retailers. Thursday, we're kind of more focusing, our networking event is going to be for the next generation of leaders and emerging leaders, and it's going to be a networking event where we'll be connecting both those that have been in leadership roles for a long time, but also those that are emerging in that area, and then having a general session that will also be a panel, but it will be leading with confidence. So kind of the theme for the day on Thursday is leadership. And then we have, again, some highlights of our different breakout seminars. social media features, how to do e-commerce, how to re-energize your team, and then working with influencers 2.0 best practices. And then Friday is a little bit of a lighter day on the education front, but it still is going to be an active day. We are going to have some discussion and a networking activity about looking forward to 2022 in Orlando when we're all able to safely convene again. But then we are also doing some classes around macro craft trends and also how to build an inclusive brand. So for those of you that were not able to join us in December for our town hall, know that you can go back and watch that recording where we kind of went in and did a specific demo of 2 different events on the swap card platform. So you can go back and watch that recording. I'm not going to go in and do an actual demo today, but I just wanted to remind everybody that that kind of in-depth demo is available on our website. But one thing I did want to highlight, and these are just some screenshots of swap card. And this is actually from an event that I attended as an attendee back in December that was on the same platform. But once, and this will happen before the actual event on March 15th, but in early March, all attendees will get access to the platform. So one of the first things that you'll want to do is the platform will be reloaded in with some of your basic demographic information. The first thing that you would do is you kind of fill out your About Me bio and kind of can put in there, how long you've been in the industry, your position, your title, that kind of a thing. So start thinking about that and what you might want to put in for your bio on the event. Also within the virtual platform, the one thing and one of the main reasons and drivers of why the staff team and I kind of selected SwapCard to be our virtual platform provider is that this tool allows you as an attendee to set times when you're willing to meet with other attendees or other manufacturers, so and exhibitor partners. So one thing that you'll do once you get that login information and link in early March is go in and we'll preload it from times that the event's actually happening from 9 to 5 Central Time, I believe. But then you can also go in, and we know people do have day jobs, they can go in and block off times when they are not available or not willing to meet with somebody, so that then others on the platform can then see when you're available and can then request an appointment with you. After they send the request to you, you're then able to accept it or decline it. But this is just a screenshot that showed kind of in my own schedule from this event that I attended when I was open for meetings, and then also has a record of some of the people that I actually were connected with and talked to face-to-face over the video chat. And then also, while the education schedule and everything that we know about that's happening during Creativation plus featuring our materials world is all online, once you get into the platform in early March, you can also then start to like the different sessions and things that you want to make sure that you attend. And then when you do that, those things start to appear in your individual schedule, so you can make sure that you're in that. One cool thing about, and one of the reasons why you want to like different sessions is there's different topics for all the different sessions. So if you start to like a lot of sessions about, say, leadership, or maybe a lot of different sessions that are in the digital marketing space, it will then start the virtual platform will then start to suggest other sessions, other manufacturers, and also other people that are interested in the same things, and kind of maybe suggest that the 2 of you connect, or the 2 of you maybe attend the same session together, or whatnot. So that's one of the main reasons why you'll want to get into the platform in early March and start to like different things that you plan to attend. And then when you're in sessions, and like I said before, that you'll be able to kind of have suggestions and people that of similar interest be suggested to you. You obviously will be able to see also all the people that are on the platform, and you can kind of reach out to them either while you're in a general session, or a business seminar, or also when you're in an exhibit booth. But you can then connect with them and send them a request to be part of your network. And then you can see their bio and everything like that. So this is just kind of a screenshot showing all the people that I connected with from this virtual event that I attended before. couple other things that you can do on the platform. And again, we get into this all in detail from that webinar back in December. But you can also bookmark different companies, and then you can also look at different products and then put them on your wish list. So it's a really robust program, and I encourage you to check out that full demo if you want to learn more.
Hey, Benjamin, we did have a few questions that came in. If I could just pause here.
Sure.
So there was a question about the swap card demo, where it resides, and I'm going to have my colleague Pete Cartwright post that within the chat for everyone. There was a question about defined show hours, which I think we're going to get into in a moment on the future slides. But there was just a question about that. And then there was another question about just it was concerned our network complexity may not be captured well in swap card. So I think it's just, some concerns about I'm not sure I fully gather the question there, but I think it's just, how swap card can be leveraged given the kind of the complexity of their network.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, I'll take those 3 questions now. So with regard to the demos, we did kind of do an in-depth demo during the town hall in December. So we actually went into the platform and I think spent probably about 15 minutes kind of like showing the different bells and whistles under the hood, if you will. And we will do more demos. And so that was actually in 2 different swap card events that were live. So our team is actually currently building and putting together what the Creativation Plus featuring our materials world event will look like in swap cards. So we're putting in sessions and picking out colors and labeling all the buttons and configuring it all right now. So we anticipate then at the end of February, we'll actually then be able to go in and do an actual demo and kind of show everybody how it all works before we're opening the platform up to everybody. So that recording that we did in the town hall was kind of geared more for attendees. That said, if you're an exhibitor partner and considering exhibiting at the event, we did record about I think it's about a 12-minute dedicated video that just kind of goes over all the different benefits and how you set up your booth and do all of that. Because as an exhibitor, you'll be able to get into the platform in early February to start to build your booth before the attendees get there. So that is a separate recording that both Chris with AFCI and Rick with Namta have then shared with the potential exhibitors. So there's different recordings out there and different demos. So I just kind of wanted to cover that question. And then the next question we got, Peter, you said was defining show hours.
Yeah, defined show hours. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So the way that we've, when you look in this schedule, is that we have, a networking activity in the morning, and then, some time for a break where people could connect, and then, a general session, and then some breakout times. But there are some chunks of, in between, like the general session and then the business seminars, where it's like an hour of time, if I recall correctly. But what it is like, that's kind of where we're recommending. It's not required by any means of the exhibitor partners, but we're kind of, that's kind of when we're saying like that would be the recommended or best time to make sure that you're in your booth, in case folks do wander in and want to start an instant conversation with you, that you're online. The one thing about swap card is also 2 people can also book appointments of when it makes sense for you guys to connect through the platform. So you can either do it anytime you want, that you show that you're available, but kind of those dedicated show hours is what we're kind of recommending, that at least all of our exhibitor partners be in their booth. And then we are encouraging all our attendees that would be the time to check out the exhibits and the different products and all that kind of stuff that's going to be online during that time between the educational sessions. But again, you can also do it anytime you want after the platform goes live. So you'll be able to see all that stuff in advance. And then, yeah.
Go ahead. There was just another question about, someone had asked about, when they'll be able to get in there and kind of kick the tires on swap card as an exhibitor. So it sounds like we don't have the specific date yet, but it'll be early February.
Yep, it will be. And you know what? We'll actually, here in a second, go over the timeline for attendees and for exhibitors. So in kind of just order there. And then I think that before we go over that timeline, though, let's cover that one question about your network. So while it does not link to your network that you might have in all your friends on Instagram or in LinkedIn or Facebook. What this is like, when you get into the virtual event, you'll be able to see all the people that are also registered for the event. So what you're able to then do is it will suggest connections for you based on some of the questions that you've answered during the registration process. So if you are a manufacturer of pens and you and an attendee that said that they're interested in pens will have suggested contacts as soon as they log into the platform for the first time. That said, and this is how I kind of worked it when I got into the platform for the one that I attended in December as an attendee. I quickly was able to go through and see my different connections and people that I've known in my industry of event planning folks. I quickly could see like, oh, Dustin's going to be there, so and so's there. So I was able to quickly reach out and then very quickly send off some invites and notes to folks to just connect on this platform. And then from there, some of the folks, we schedule times to just connect to do coffee or chat or whatever. And some, and some of it was also then happened after the event actually happened. But this kind of spurred the conversation, if you will, between us because we both had attended the event together. And then also with some of the folks, it was a way for us that we were chatting through the platform, and then knew that we were going to be in the same sessions together. And then we chatted when we were in the same sessions because I knew that my friend Dana was going to be in particular sessions because I had coffee earlier in the week. So that was kind of cool too. I think that kind of answers the question. If Peter, anything to add that you think I missed?
We just had a couple more questions. Just, again, I think it's just about the kind of the connection between reps and, those that are on the virtual floor. So there was a question, can you have more than one person in a meeting? And I think that would help with ensuring reps that make sure that they're assigned to the correct meetings. So is this something automated or at a minimum manually done?
Yeah, so the one-on-one, the one-on-one chat function through the platform is currently like one-to-one. But that said, you can schedule an appointment through the platform with multiple people and then share like a link to a Zoom room or a team room or something like that. So if you're having multiple people, you can then have your Zoom room set up. And then if you wanted to as an exhibitor, it could be up to you if you wanted to then have that Zoom room just open and then actually publish that link on your page. The people could just like join you at any time, or you could just send out that link to people kind of after you confirmed an appointment. So you can either meet on the platform or you could do it through Zoom or Teams or Skype Business or whatever your preferred thing is for your company when you're connecting with people. With regards to reps, there is a process, and this is kind of more for our Namta folks, but we've been kind of in discussions with Leah and her team. We've learned that and this happens also on the AFCI side as well, but some people are manufacturers reps and they kind of work with multiple companies. So there is a way for us on the back end, if you let us know, that we can make sure that if you register for the event, that then you are listed as a booth rep in each individual manufacturer booth as one of the people that's there. So on the exhibitor booth side, it does say like, these are the 5 people that are working our booth. And if you're working on multiple booths, you can be listed in all of them. So we can put you in and tag you to all of them so that they know that you kind of are there representing multiple groups. So I hope that kind of answers the question there about the possibilities and how nimble the platform is.
And we can do individual availability for those meetings. So you can look to see if, John Doe at XYZ company is available at this time and so on.
Correct. Yeah. So so if John Doe has put in these are the times that he's available, you can then go in and request any of those appointment times with him. And then once he confirms that, then it will show off as blocked out in his calendar. But he could also then pre-block some time slots if he knows that he has a call for work or for his day job from 11 to 1. you won't be able to book any times with him, and nothing's confirmed until the person you send the request to actually replies back and accepts it.
And how do we kind of route to the right rep? Is that something that, so if you've got 5, but each kind of has their own focus, or, is there a way to make sure that we're making the right connection?
Yeah, so on the exhibitor side, if somebody requests a meeting with you, you have the availability to then, they can request a meeting with the company, and they can then also kind of assign it to the different booth staff people that they're working with. So Peter, if you, for example, were kind of the main person that was in charge of the AFCI booth, but both Jim and I were kind of your 2 reps. As people request times to meet with us as a company, you can then assign it to me or to Jim, or like I said, kind of with that example, it was kind of, we want both of us in that meeting. You could kind of have it, both of us do it, and we could both kind of block it in our calendar, and we could do it together if we needed to, and then we could kind of then set up a Zoom room or Skype or whatever to kind of have that meeting.
There's another question here. This is less about exhibitors, but more outreach to retailers. So we have been doing, so we've been using, obviously our current member lists, as well as those that have may be lapsed members or over the last couple of years. So and certainly I've done a lot of international outreach as well. So I know that Leah and her team have been doing the same. So and one of the at the last Creativation in Phoenix, I think we had 26 countries represented. So our goal is to really get more engagement, amongst the international attendees, or those folks that would think about coming that are not here in North America, because there's no barrier, in terms of travel, or this is all online. So we're hoping that is an attractive feature, especially given that, as I understand it, Creative World is not occurring, but they have I think a smaller digital event that's going on in April or May. But we're hoping that this will be attractive for folks that still want to attend a show this year, and given the limitations that we can't convene, that's been part of our marketing plan.
Yep, it is indeed. So moving on, just with our timeline for attendees. So obviously right now we're kind of in this registration phase, where people are deciding to register and putting in their platform, and then they're also, as they're doing that, they're putting in the different topics and products that they're interested in. After that, you should be, sharing with your networks that you're attending Creativation Plus. There's been a lot of activity online, but just letting your own network know that you're planning to attend, that you're excited to. And kind of, as I said, when we were kind of showing a couple of the screenshots there, starting to work on your profile, because as soon as we do have that training, which would then be the next step, that would be in early March. So you can participate in that live or watch some of the videos and recordings that we'll be putting out, and we'll do long in-depth stuff, and we'll also send out some just short, quick videos that will just be a couple minutes long. But you'll be, one of the first things you'll want to do is put in that bio, so or that profile. And so you'll want to kind of start thinking about what you might want to put in that if you're an attendee, as soon as you get access to the platform. So after you do get access to the platform in early March, you'll want to log on, get comfortable with it, and then update what times you're available, start to request meetings with folks, book appointments with the manufacturer that you want to connect with, and also your own network that you see that then is on the platform. And then also bookmark the sessions that are interested of you that you want to make sure that you do catch live. And then, the week of the 15th, you obviously, everything is recorded and available on demand afterwards, but obviously we do encourage you to try to be there for as much as you can during that week. And then afterwards, you can continue that conversation with your friends and partners. Like I said, I had some folks that we only had a 15-minute coffee booked, but then, it spurred us to then continue some of that conversation and book a longer appointment the following week. So that was one of the unique things that kind of spurred us, like, oh, I haven't seen you in so long. You know, Peggy was her name actually, but, you know, we had a quick little coffee chat, but we had to continue the conversation. And we did that and had then, we actually did a happy hour then and did a virtual beer the following week. So it was pretty cool. And then we want you to mark your calendar for Orlando for April 10th to the 12th in 2022. So that's kind of a brief overview of the attendee timeline. We did just get some of our product management team assigned from SwapCard. So we actually just had our a kickoff call earlier this week, and we're still working on scheduling all the exact training sessions and times. So as soon as we do know those, we will send out the date and the time, and people will be able to register for those in advance. So like I said, they'll be in early March. The exhibitor timeline is a little bit different. You do, obviously right now, like I shared earlier, you know, we do have over 30 companies that have turned in their contract. We're expecting over 100, lots of conversations happening on the sales side. But when you turn in your contract for exhibit space, you also then are telling us what products you manufacture so that we can preload that into the platform. We have shared with the prospective exhibitors already some of the specific requirements for videos and the materials and everything that they're able to put into their virtual exhibit that does exist, so we can let you know that this banner artwork, what's the size of it, what are some of the requirements and all that kind of stuff, so you can start to work and prepare for those materials, because we are actually, your training will actually then be at the beginning of February, because again, you'll be get into the platform several weeks before the attendees in order to have time for you to then upload all your stuff, make sure that it looks the right way. That's also, the link goes out to the main exhibitor contact, and then you then will then put in all of your different booth reps, and we have time to then make sure that everybody's tagged and put into the right booths. So that's kind of what all happens in the first few weeks of February. So you're actually registering your people actually directly in SwapCard so that they can then get in. And then again, attendee, be ready for the exhibitor, with the attendee opening in early March. The exhibitors will, and again, we'll have training for them. We'll go over how they want to block their times in their calendars, when they're willing to meet with people, all of that. So once the attendees get in, they'll be able to book appointments with them. And then again, all of our exhibitors are invited to attend sessions as well. And then everybody's attending the event the week of the 15th. And then you continue the conversation with new customers or potential customers. And then again, we want you to mark your calendar for the in-person event where we'll all safely convene in Orlando. With regards to next steps, we did want to go ahead and announce today, we had previously published that the deadline for early bird and for our advanced pricing was actually the 15th of January. But since there's a lot of folks that are trying to register and it's just after the holidays here, we did want to go ahead and announce that we're extending that early bird discount deadline actually up until Friday, February 12th. So the $99 rate will now be valid for an extra about 4 weeks. So that's kind of an exciting thing. So we're giving more time to the members, both on the Namta side and the AFCI side, to go in and register and kind of put everything in and do that. But just wanted to go ahead and share that news today. I think that gives people more time to kind of look at all the educational sessions and everything that we covered here today.
Yeah, and I think just also familiarity with SwapCard. So I know that, you know, there continue to be questions. So you know, just want to make sure that we're getting as much information to you as possible.
Yep, exactly. So with that, we did also on the AFCI side, we did announce in December that we had some microgrants available from our foundation. So that deadline date was actually January 8th. And we are going to be awarding those grants to folks that did have a financial need for their Creativation plus attendance for our members. But those announcements and those folks will be hearing from us soon about their grants. It will be over $15,000 in grants for those members in need. So we're glad that we're going to be able to support all those members that needed it and ask for a grant. So it's exciting that we're able to do that. And then really, we're just asking folks to go ahead and look at everything, ask questions if you still have questions, look for that information about the Creativation kits that I shared about earlier, the exhibitors, and more to come. It's all going to be posted to the website soon. But after you commit to attending or exhibiting, please share that on your network and let everyone know that you are supporting both AFCI and NAMTA with Creativation Plus Material Arts World. So I think that covers all the important announcements. And then also, Peter, did you kind of want to just cover, obviously we're gonna have all the additional training on swap card that I mentioned, but do you kind of want to cover the next?
Yeah, so one of the things that, and talking with Jim Scatena and the board, felt that it was really important that we have these monthly town halls because this is certainly a big shift going from, all being in Phoenix to now being online, and to make sure that everyone's, getting as much information as possible. So we'll have another town hall in February, and then we're still looking at a date in early March before before the big event. Obviously, we're always here to answer questions as we move along, but we want to make sure that that line of communication was open. And I believe we'll also have the annual business meeting portion as part of that February 10th meeting. So with that said, do we have any other questions, Pete? I think we captured.
One question about photo and video parameters for exhibitors within SwapCard.
Okay, let me see where this is here, sorry. Okay, specification for swap card images, videos located for those who want to review before we sign the contract. So I believe this is the specs for images and videos.
Yes, we do have a one-pager that kind of outlines all of that. So we can, I don't know who specifically, Pete and Peter asked the question, but we can actually send that directly to that individual if you want to just capture that.
It was anonymous, so.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so, all right. So I would, that we do have, so for that person that asked that question, that's a great question. Thanks for asking that. Yeah, so we did get that question from other folks that were wanting that information before they commit to submitting an exhibit contract. So we actually put together a one-pager that outlines all those specifics, and both Rick with NAMTA and Chris with AFCI both have that. So reach out, depending on which organization you typically exhibit with, either reach out to Chris or Rick directly, and then they can share it with you. And you can look at those specs, so you can know exactly file size and pixels, dimensions, file types, all that kind of stuff. It's all on that one pager.
Yeah, so there was a question here about the deadline for uploading content. Can folks do it right up until the very beginning of the show?
Oh, yeah, that's another good question. You can do it anytime. So you can, obviously it would be best to do it before attendees are allowed into the platform in early March, ideally, but you can change it out. You can also change it out throughout the show. So some people, they're like, we want to, Monday, Tuesday, we want to focus on this product. And so then we're going to have that video be the first link and the first thing that's on our exhibit page, our profile page for our exhibit booth. And then you could move that video down or switch it out, and you can do it anytime you want. You have availability to do that 24/7. Good question.
Yeah, so there was a question about the cost, which we addressed in the earlier slide. So there was a question about what is the cost to attend, and again, it's $99. So that is the so as an attendee, and Benjamin had a slide on this earlier. We outlined what you get as an attendee. So it's access to everything during those 5 days, and then after those 5 days, you still have access to all that information, all of the presentations, a lot of the collateral. So it's not as if it's a sort of 5 days and you're done. The platform, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Benjamin, will be up for, was it 3 months or 6 months? And then at that point, we can also move some of the presentation material and collaterals, some of the materials over to our respective websites as well.
Yeah, we haven't determined the exact date when we'll take it down, but we'll be able to communicate that. But I mean, I know it's at least 6 months.
Yeah.
So it could actually, I probably will be closer towards the, through the end of the year, probably.
Yeah. And then there was a question, can we post the specification page on the website for all to see?
That's a great idea. Yes, we can. It's not top secret. So yes.
And that came from the chair of the Creativation Plus committee. So I'll just thanks, Lawrence.
All right, that is a great point. We can certainly do that and put it out there now if people want it. No problem. Yeah.
Information on how designer professional DIY maker members can customize their swap card profile in an creative, artful manner. So I think just, some guidance for some of those folks and building out their profiles, ideas for them. I mean, I think we can certainly talk with our marketing team about how we can, address that. So
so certainly from an exhibitor standpoint, I know that exhibitors can customize with colors and font and branding, and they have that availability. But with attendees, it will be more about kind of like the written and what you put in your bio, and then also what you put in for your likes and stuff like that. So it'll probably be more around what you actually put in your bio and kind of that description there. And then also, obviously, you can upload, a headshot that is not just something creative, potentially to catch people's eyes. Would be another suggestion off the top of my head. But yeah, we can also work with the swap card and marketing team to kind of come up with some more details there for those folks.
Yeah. There's a question, will the show be back to Phoenix or is this a permanent move to Florida? And just to clarify, so we are out of Phoenix. Our only, certainly committed with Namta in Orlando. And we've been in talks with Namta about future locations, which have not been confirmed yet. But yeah, we are no longer. And for those that have some background on AFCI and where our commitments, our past commitments, we were committed in Houston from 2023 to 2025. That we are no longer committed to Houston. So that is so really after Orlando, hopefully we'll be partnering again and working with Namta.
So the future is bright, and we don't know what it entails, right? And so we'll have more to share later, but no more Phoenix.
No more Phoenix, yes. And our goal is really to, I speaking from the AFCI side, is that we'd work with Namta, going forward and co-locating. I know. They're in talks to be with Chicago, and so I don't know if Leah, you wanted to speak to that at all, but yeah, we want to see this.
Yeah, we were. Namta is looking to likely be in Chicago in 2023. We were supposed to be in Chicago in 2020 and 2021, which obviously neither of those shows took place live. So we were already committed to Orlando for 22, and then we are looking to finally be in Chicago in 23. And we have not decided on any locations past then.
There's a question here about the platform. Is it based on Cvent? No, it is not based on Cvent. And we did not create our own platform. This is a swap card. There are a number of associations, a large multinational use it for various events. So it's one of the reasons why we chose swap card is because of this. We know the trade show portion of this event is of enormous importance. So that's why we chose swap card, because they host these kinds of events and do them quite well. So that's why we chose the platform.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off of that, it was because of the matchmaking and then the algorithm that connects based on sessions and likes and what you like in connecting buyers and sellers together and helping to facilitate networking. That was one of the reasons that we chose it. And it is used by a lot of other show organizers. There's an event every spring in April. Some people may or may not have heard of it. It's called South by Southwest. It takes place in Austin every year, and they are also going to be on the Swap Card platform. So it is not just some random technology that we kind of picked out as a staff team, but we did do we went through a pretty thorough vetting process to make sure that this technology provider was the right one for us to use for Creativation Plus featuring Art Materials World.
So yeah, there's another question about the early bird. So yes, the early bird has been extended to February 12th. You know, so just, there was another question about that. So is there, let's see if there's any other questions here. I think Jim, brought up, should we encourage use of CU at Creativation? Of course. I mean, I feel like that's a channel where we are able to, you know, keep a finger on the pulse of what's going on and things that we need to respond to. So certainly, you know, we can, you know, we'll be monitoring that for questions that come up or concerns. But with that, I think we have gotten through all of the questions, hopefully. So again, so what is the cost for someone to attend, like a buyer? Yes, the buyer, it's $99 as an attendee. So if you're coming in as a retailer, it's $99. I don't know. So I guess with that, I think we've addressed all of the questions here. I guess I'll just leave it to Jim and Phil if you have any closing remarks. And you know, as always, you know, feel free to reach out to me or Leah and Benjamin to answer what other additional questions come up. But I guess with that, if Jim and Phil, you want to make some closing remarks?
Phil?
I had to unmute there. Sorry about that. Any of the NAMTA exhibitors or attendees that generally attend the NAMTA show, if you have any questions, by all means, feel free to reach out to Leah, to Rick, myself. We'll be happy to answer as many questions for you as we possibly can. And looking forward to sort of virtually seeing everybody when we get together in a couple of months.
Yeah. I realize we threw a lot of information at you today, and I'd like to apologize, but it's the only way to do it right now. And I was really encouraged by the number of questions that we got. And all of you, or any of you who know me, I'm all about the in-person show. I mean, if you don't know me, I was the old styrofoam guy with the biggest booth at AFCI every year. Well, the hat's ready. We're going to do it virtually this year, but we really, really, really need you to sign on now. It helps all of our planning. It gives us confidence. I will tell you, Phil and I have had conversations about this. We're going forward. This isn't a go, no-go event. We are all in. We're excited about the opportunity, and we see it as a bridge to an in-person event because we're a unique group of people who love to be together. We love to touch and feel product. We love to hug and shake hands. We love to have an adult beverage or two. That's iced tea in the plastic red cup, by the way. But this is the bridge to Orlando 2022. We don't want anybody stepping out now and stepping back then. We respect your right to do that. And we realize some people are under hardship right now, but we really need your support. We really want you at this show. $99 is not much to ask. And one of the chat rooms brought out the fact that $99 includes everything. It's not a sign up and show up and pay $25 for that class or $50 for that class. $99, you're in, you've got it in person or virtually, and you've got it recorded for a reasonable period of time. It's a bargain. I don't think I got away with a lunch in Phoenix for less than $99. So we need you to sign up. Get in there, make Leah's team and Peter's team crazy the next 3 days taking signups. That's what we want to hear. As with Phil, any questions you have, find me, find Peter, find Ben, find anybody at AFCI or NAMTA. This is a marriage made in heaven. Let's do it. Did I use all my time?
No, that was
I got things to do.
that was great. So, you know, again, I really appreciate everyone joining us today. And again, thank you to all the AFCI members and NAMTA members and everyone. Benjamin, I feel like did a lot of a lot of the work on this. So many thanks to Benjamin for I think did a great job getting at all the questions. Certainly send us more as they come along, and thank you very much. Take care.